Bountiful, Utah is a city nestled in Davis County, toward the north end of Salt Lake City. I mean, just barely north of Salt Lake, just a tiny smidge north of Salt Lake. It offers a distinctive blend of suburban tranquility, but also proximity to the urban amenities of downtown Salt Lake City. Like any other city, living in Bountiful is going to have a list of pros, but also its list of cons. So we're going to try to figure out the pros and the cons of living in Bountiful, because depending on who you are, different things are going to mean different things to you and way differently for you. So there are some key advantages and drawbacks to living in Bountiful, and we'll rely on a few sources like local government studies, reviews, demographic statistics, and some residential experiences gathered from various reputable resources. So the first thing on my list of pros and cons of living in Bountiful, Utah, number one is the quality of life and that community feel that you get from living in Bountiful. Bountiful really does boast a strong sense of community that many residents find very appealing. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, a significant portion of the city's approximately 44,000 residents have lived in Bountiful for decades, leading to a very tight-knit neighborhood relationship. And for some people, that is a huge bonus, and for other people, that sends them running to the hills. But we'll put it on the pro side because it can be a really big pro for a lot of people. So that fact comes to us from quick facts from the Bountiful City, Utah portion of the census.gov website. Also, the city organizes numerous community events such as the Tri-City Nursery's annual Fall Festival and the annual Bountiful in Action Day, which unites the residents and fosters a sense of belonging. Number two, economic stability. Bountiful enjoys economic stability with a very, very competitive, if you want to say it that way, or low unemployment rate, below the national average. It hovers around 2.2% as of the 2020 census, and a survey by Data USA reveals that the city's median household income was around $75,625. And that's higher than the national median, which is at $68,703 in 2019. It's a little bit old, but it does give you a sense that people are making a little bit more money in Bountiful than they are in the rest of the country as an average. Additionally, proximity to Salt Lake City provides really great employment opportunities in all of the industries that Salt Lake offers, like tech, healthcare, finance, education, and those points of data come to us from Data USA, like I said. Number three on that list is that Bountiful is family friendly. It's got a family friendly environment. For families, Bountiful is really a great location for that reason. Let's be honest, Bountiful has been a small town up to now, and so a lot of families find that appealing. Schools in Bountiful are really highly rated. You have Bountiful High. They have a graduation rate of roughly 93%, which is much higher than the national average of 84%. Furthermore, there are numerous parks like Bountiful City Park and the North Canyon Park that offer abundant recreational activities for children and teens alike. It contributes to a very well-rounded sense of belonging to the community. Number four on my list of pros of living in Bountiful is that it is outdoor activities galore. You have natural beauty and outdoor activities at every turn in Bountiful. Bountiful's location on the edge of the Wasatch Mountains offers an exceptional view, of course, but also access to outdoor activities like hiking, skiing, mountain biking, all of the things that I talk about on this channel all the time, because that's what it means to live in Utah. Those things are popular, but you also have trails like Mueller Park Trail and moderately challenging sessions on the Bountiful Boulevard, offering residents really beautiful visual experiences intertwined with that physical exertion. And that comes to us from all trails, obviously the Bountiful section. You have proximity to the Great Salt Lake and also some freshwater bodies of water to go to for more water-related recreation. When I was a kid, we did lots of boating. You can do paddleboard, canoeing, sailing, all sorts of fun stuff like that. So obviously we need to cover the cons of living in Bountiful, Utah. Number one on that list of cons, real estate and the cost of living. Growing up, Bountiful was always a much more affordable place, both real estate and just living. But over the years, Bountiful has changed in that regard. Bountiful does have lots of beautiful benefits that I think are really, really great, but the cost of living is comparatively high. If you have, a 2020 study by Best Places shows that Bountiful's cost of living index was at 111.6, which is significantly above the national average, which is 100. Now, that Best Places Bountiful Utah resource is a little bit older, so I've tried to find newer updated resources, and the best I've been able to find is that it's at closer to 115, and I found that across various websites. It's really hard to find a date on any of these websites, but the next data point kind of helps us situate that a little bit. Real estate prices in Bountiful echo the concern that I'm making right now, which is that Zillow reports an estimated median home value of $423,800 as of August 2021, which that's a while ago. And I've found more recent data than that. And I go to the MLS and it says that the average price for a home in Bountiful right now is closer to $618,000. So much more expensive, 50% more expensive almost. So if the cost of living index was, I don't know, 112 to 116 in that time frame, I would be willing to bet it's a little bit higher than that now. Finding clean data on that does prove to be a little bit challenging, but that gives you a good idea of the cost of living in Bountiful being a problem. Number two, Bountiful has limited diversity. There's no other way to say it. Bountiful's demographics indicate a predominantly homogeneous population with over 90% of residents identifying as white, according to the latest census data of 2020. Critics also argue that this lack of diversity restricts the cultural exposure and could potentially lead to a fairly narrow worldview. Now, I don't know, that's very subjective, but that is a concern for people, for sure. Companies increasingly value diversity and just different perspectives at the table, because problem solving is about thinking outside the box, and sometimes having a different perspective can be really helpful. And cities lacking this may inadvertently suppress innovation and community enrichment. And I know that can be a somewhat fraught subject to talk about, but there it is. Number three, traffic congestion. Bountiful's heavy commuter traffic, especially due to the fact that it's so close to Salt Lake City, and a lot of people go to Salt Lake City to do their work and come back to Bountiful, means that there's a lot of commuter congestion. And you have a lot of working professionals going to Salt Lake from Bountiful and back to Bountiful all the time. So that means that the average commute time for Bountiful residents was around 21 minutes, which I know in other parts of the country, people are thinking like 20 minutes is like a dream. But in Salt Lake and the larger valley, 20 minutes is a really long time. Everything is about 10 or 15 minutes away in Salt Lake. So that data point comes from Data USA again. And the highways linking Bountiful with the surrounding cities, including I-15 or Interstate 15 and 215, they often have considerable congestion during peak hours, and that affects the overall convenience and quality of life for everyone. It's getting worse, and what they're thinking they want to do is expand the highways freeways, which studies have been showing since the 1960s that making bigger roads actually makes the problem worse. It's kind of like traffic is like water, and when you build a bigger ditch, you get more water there, right? So I guess we'll see what happens there. But number 4 on the list is going to be limited nightlife and entertainment. Bountiful is not known for its nightlife or its museums or venues to go see shows, that kind of thing. So a recurring observation among the residents and the reviewers on platforms like Niche is that Bountiful pales compared to larger cities when it comes to nightlife and entertainment options. Now, Salt Lake is really close, so you can get to Salt Lake for the nightlife there, which compared to Bountiful is much, much more vibrant. And restaurants and bars, they do tend to close early compared to the urban vivacity in Salt Lake City proper. But friends and family often seek leisure in more extensive entertainment districts a short drive away, which just means that the city's immediate allure can be a little bit, I don't know, especially for like the nightlife aspect, can be a little bit less, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that comes to us from Niche, which is a really great website that can help you really do some great research on all of these different areas. So weighing the pros and cons, it's clear that Bountiful Utah does offer a family-centric community vibe, economic stability, access to abundant outdoor adventures. Nevertheless, the considerations towards the cost of living, the demographic homogeneity, and limited nightlife do complicate that equation a little bit. And Bountiful suits some people really adequately. Addressing the limitations is essential for prospective residents to make a really informed decision. I think for some people, they would be more than happy to weigh those pros and cons and make the choice of buying a home in Bountiful, even if it's just like a starter home for 4 or 5 years, to then get on that property ladder and then be able to move to the place that they actually want to live. Because Bountiful is a great place and it's really close to Salt Lake City, and individual circumstances and priority concerns are definitely going to and should drive the final decision for anyone consider making a home in Bountiful. If you like to take advantage of the great outdoors, almost anywhere in Utah is going to give you that unrivaled opportunity. So that's something to keep in mind. If you need some help finding just the right place, reach out to me. I love hearing from you. We will have a great time doing it.